Hello, welcome to another Roadside Rambling. As I'm on my way to work here, just a quick programming note. I'm actually going to start going into work at 10 o'clock on Sundays instead of 9 o'clock. So this will be an hour later most days in the future here. But yeah. Sometimes I'll go in early just because I'm a decent coworker. I don't mind going in early for people if they have things to do. So thanks everyone for being here. So I figured what I would talk about today on my little jaunt to work is just kind of more hypocrisy from the media, the Democratic Party, and things regarding Joe Biden and his mental health. So on this specifically, remember when ad nauseum we had to hear about Donald Trump's health and the idea of possibly removing him via the 25th Amendment? Now, I don't know what specifically it was about Trump that had people freaked out. Just that he was boisterous, that he used language they didn't like, and that was enough to claim that he had some sort of mental health deficiency and that possibly he needed to be removed from office. But I think that other than possibly not having the best diet, for his age, he seems pretty healthy, he seems pretty active, and certainly he seems quick-witted. It didn't seem like he was losing control of his mental faculties, yet still, it was a mainstream story for months that they were trying to remove him using the 25th Amendment. We even had supposedly, wasn't it Rosenstein that claimed that he would wear a wire and was trying to get Trump removed using the 25th Amendment? We're not sure if that happened or not. McCabe testified or has claimed that that's exactly what happened. Yet you haven't heard word one about Biden's mental health from these same people that were talking about that. And speaking of health, Bernie had a heart attack not too long ago, but no one's raising issues of his health and what that means for his presidency. Now, it is worth talking about, but I'm not going to claim that that's my big issue, especially with Bernie. You know, if he has a physical ailment that could possibly lead to him passing away, that's sad, and it's worth, people have the right to know what his health is before voting, but not the end of the world. But someone literally suffering through Alzheimer's or dementia, it seems obvious that's what's happening to Biden. That's a big deal. That's not to be taken lightly. And the very people that made a mountain out of a molehill with Trump, where there was nothing there, are totally silent when it comes to Biden. And to me, the real story here, what it shows is what I was saying last week, which is that the Democratic Party just wants an empty suit. That's who they want to nominate. They just want to say, Trump bad. Free stuff for everyone, Trump bad. That's their strategy. They would rather have that than someone that you could point at and say, well, here's negatives of this person. And it's ridiculous, no matter if you hate Trump, if you're a Democrat, whatever. It's absurd that that's what our political systems became. Sorry about that. A little dead spot there. But yeah, we should demand more of our political system than that. But the other thing it shows is how powerful they are. How powerful controlling the narrative is. That they could get someone like Joe Biden. If you didn't see, what did he say this weekend? If you want a Democrat, you vote for Biden Bama. He can't even get his name and Barack Obama's name correct. Then he's said something like, "Oh, we have to reelect. You can't reelect. You can't reelect me. You have to reelect Trump." What? And you can honestly see, I have no love for Joe Biden as a politician. I don't. I think he's corrupt. I think he was part of the corrupt Obama administration. If he committed crimes, he should be brought to justice for them. But just as a human being, you feel bad for the guy. You can see some of these times when he's flubbing things up that he's visibly frustrated because he doesn't have the faculties to get the words to come out correctly. That's not someone we want leading our country. It's just ridiculous. And the people that talked about the 25th Amendment, this was the exact scenario that an amendment like that was put in there for. Yet they're silent. They don't care. It just once more shows they are hypocrites of the highest order. They are not journalists. They're propagandists. That's all they are. But the lesson we should take, in addition to that, is how powerful they are. Do I believe that everyone that's voting for Joe Biden's a terrible person? No, not at all. Most people, I think, have reasons to vote. I might think they're ill-informed or something like that. But I don't bash voters or supporters. I might talk about specific behavior. People like some of the extremists that are Bernie supporters, but I'm always quick to say this isn't all Bernie supporters, and you could be. I have friends that support Bernie and that are good people. But if there's mass amounts of people, and look, even if you think, well, if it's Biden versus Trump, Trump will win in a landslide, millions of people will still vote for Joe Biden, regardless. And it's because the media is so powerful that they're able to convince millions of people to support someone with dementia. I mean, it's surreal. Now, remember, my prediction, it's a long shot. It still seems like a conspiracy. But my prediction all along has been, once it was obvious to me that Bloomberg didn't have the goods and Buttigieg didn't have the goods and Biden doesn't have the goods, that the Democratic Party is going to look for an outsider. And so that would either come about through a brokered convention, or they could say that after they make Biden the nominee, that he might have to step down for health problems. And that opens the door for someone like whoever he chooses for his vice president. Maybe a Hillary Clinton type person. Maybe a Michelle Obama type person. And remember, I argue that in our politics today, the less time you are running, the better. Because then people don't have time to vet you and all the crazy things that you may have said or endorsed. The other thing that's worth talking about today is something that I said to defend Biden. And that was, look, again, I think Biden's corrupt. But one of the things I think about Biden is I do not think that he's a racist, at least not in the traditional sense. I think that he probably has a bigotry of low expectations for black people, but that's endemic on the left. Certainly not exclusive to Joe Biden. But when Kamala Harris got on stage and said that because Biden did not support forced busing back in the day, that he harmed black people, a policy, by the way, that the majority of black people are against. You saw, I covered that debate. I told you right then and there. I was like, this is despicable. The next day, Kamala Harris came out and said, well, I'm not for forced busing either. But she made this attack on Biden, implying that he was engaged in some racist policy that would have affected young African-American students like herself when she was a kid. That was utter nonsense. And again, I have integrity, so I could call out when something, just like them screwing Tulsi out of being on the debate stage. I don't like Tulsi. I think she sold out. I'm furious at how hypocritical she was by backing the deep state against Trump. But it's still corrupt. I'll call out the corruption against her. So I'll call out this garbage claim by Kamala Harris. Now today she's out there endorsing Joe Biden. And what specifically is she putting videos out endorsing him on? Oh, his great record with African Americans and being a champion for the African American community. Now, am I saying this is unique to Kamala Harris? No. Most politicians are hypocritical liars like this. You can't trust what's coming out of their mouth. And this is true on all sides of the aisle. I'm not saying just the Democrats. But for God's sakes, once more we see the establishment media ran with her narrative and her question. Remember, the media was propping Kamala up after that. She won the debate. Oh, what a devastating attack on Joe Biden. Oh, she's the front runner. She's one of the front runners. That's what the media was pushing, the Democratic establishment. That's what they were pushing after that debate. They knew it was garbage. How do I know they knew it was garbage? Because I know it's garbage. And I don't have super secret access to information that the mainstream media doesn't have. Yet they ran with that purposeful lie. They lied to you, the American people. That's who they lied to. And now the exact opposite tack's being ran, and they're saying, oh, yeah, Biden's great with African Americans. Kamala said so. The establishment says so. You know, what I'll say, you hear Elizabeth Warren voters out there crying, which they're insufferable. The ones that I see, not all of her voters, but the ones that I see. Oh, she got cheated. How'd she get cheated? Oh, it's sexism. Why is it sexism? The same party that's saying it's sexism not to nominate Elizabeth Warren, it's changing the rules to keep the only woman left in the race, Tulsi Gabbard, from being on the debate stage. The same party that says get rid of the Electoral College, we want to decide everything by a popular vote, except Bernie Sanders, all raised their hand and said they're for the superdelegate system. They don't want to give the nomination to the Democratic candidate with the most votes. So, I mean, it's just more hypocrisy from these people. And the last thing I'll say is, yes, as I've said, don't underestimate how powerful them controlling the narrative is. And remember, if they're willing to lie to you about these things, about Joe Biden and busing, or about mental health issues with Trump and then ignoring him with Biden, what do you think they're willing to lie to you about the policies that these Democrats are putting forward? What do you think they're willing to lie to you about something like, I don't know, climate change that they say is all going to wipe us out in 10 years? What do you think they're willing to lie to you about something like the coronavirus? If it means them getting power, they're going to lie. They don't care. You should stop trusting them, period. Now, I know most of the people watching now are like, yeah, Rob, of course, we all knew that. But we need to be showing this stuff to the millions upon millions of Americans that need to wake up. And I don't care if they're on the left or the right. They might say, well, I'm not going to vote for Donald Trump. That's fine. But stop getting your information from these corrupt establishment people. If you're on the left, find an independent content creator on the left that doesn't lie. There are people out there that make a case against Trump that I disagree with them. I think they're misinformed, but they're not as corrupt as the mainstream media or the establishment Democratic Party. So, all right, well, I'm at work. I'll be doing more stuff as the week goes by. I'm training someone at work this week, so I don't know how much content I'll be able to do, but I should get off a day earlier. And I got some exciting news about working with Trump's campaign in Pennsylvania. I got a meeting Tuesday, so I'll have some news about that. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for your continued support, whether it be financial, getting my name out there, or just tuning into my videos. I really appreciate it. I'll talk to you all soon, and as always, have a good one.